The topic for our message today is a spiritual family, and it will be given by our dear sister. So let us welcome our dear sister for the message today, Sister Inge. Thank you.
Good morning. I think everybody can actually or should give a sermon or something they learn from God or our true parents. So I try to do that today. I'm not trying to be a pastor or a sermon giver, more maybe to share. I know because we are registered as a charity, we call our family federation often an organization, and that sometimes makes me cringe because we forget that we're actually God's family, or maybe it doesn't come out that often. True Father said, Ron, I see. Yeah, I like that. The family is the only institution created by God. It is the school of love where people can learn how to love each other and live together in peace. And it is the training center where we practice how to build peace in the world. And that is very dear to me because even the early Christians thought that family, that they called each other brothers and sisters suddenly because of the early Christianity and because of Jesus' teaching. Suddenly we were not we were a family, not just a church. Individuals cannot have freedom without a solid, firm, cooperative communities. We need a base and spiritual, we need a community where our basic needs and our spiritual needs are met, so that we have the strength to cope with the problems and all kinds of problems we encounter, and that we are able to prosper and create peace and love. I was very lucky to grow up in a community when the farmers had to get the harvest in because of a storm is coming or hail or anything, or a lot of sunshine, it would destroy the harvest. The whole village helped together. All farmers helped each other, the other farmers, to get the harvest in. And then I remember we would sit on the straw and we would drink, not alcohol, just drink and share, and we would pray and sing. That's how I grew up. So nobody ever told me how to pray. I just did it because the other people did it. That's how I learned. And I remember when we slaughtered a cow or a pig or rabbits or a geese, we children knew we will get little pockets and there will be lots of things inside, and we knew which address we had to go and give people who needed or didn't have so much food. That was our job. My family never kept it for themselves. It always had to be shared with others. So I was so blessed to grow up in such an environment. When I was 10, my dad suddenly died with an accident, and honestly, our world collapsed big time. And who was my guide? That was the vicar and his wife. Whenever I needed to talk to someone or felt I couldn't cope with something, open house. I could go into their house and they would help me. So that was, and because I come from a Lutheran church, you had to, for 2 years, study every week with the vicar, the Bible, all the children, my friends, everyone. We had to study for 2 years the Bible. Then, on our confirmation, we had to sit in front of the church, in front of the congregation, huge one, and they would ask us questions, us 13-year-olds. We didn't know what question will come, and we had to answer. And then they decided if we can be blessed and get the blessing from the vicar and get confirmed. What a beautiful tradition. I mean, we were scared. Why do I say that? Because at that time you had to make a choice in your life. Being confirmed for us meant I say yes to God. Yeah. But then the vicar turned the whole thing round and said, now you, congregation, it is your responsibility to make sure they can keep their promise. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. In Romans 12:5 it says, we belong to each other and each of us needs all others. That's why I think we need a spiritual church, our spiritual family. God gave us, all of us, some very specific ability. And I think it is our job, it is us, to make sure we share this ability with others, help others. And I think that helps also to create a spiritual family, to do good work and to serve others. Nelson Mandela, the late South African president, his bodyguard asked him once, Sir, how is your family? And Nelson Mandela replied, I have a very huge family. My family has 43 million members to take care of, he said. We are a world family, isn't it? So many people understand that. I mean, he did, definitely. God wants a family, not just one. He wants a worldwide family, and True Parents was teaching us that always. That's what they were trying to tell us, that we're more than just one family. We belong to a whole world family. God is looking for sons, not for servants, True Father said. And Hosea 6:6 said, I don't want your sacrifices, I want your love. I don't want your offerings, I want to know you. No, I want you to know me. And in Emphasize 1-5, it says, God never gives up on his plan to have you in his family. The family is the church of the living God. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I sometimes go, no, always, I go with Yebony and Patrick to workshops to take care of the children. And sometimes, sometimes even in the street I hear, I don't need anybody, I can manage on my own. Who needs this or who needs whom? And I always think that is that is so strange. How could we come to this kind of concept? Because the chair you're sitting on, somebody made that for you, isn't it? The street, the road, you didn't make that road. The car you came in, somebody did that for you. And the food in the supermarket, you didn't grow it, you didn't even put it there. It is the clothes we're wearing, we didn't make. So to say I don't need anybody is it's just not possible. So, and because, so we are so intertwined, we are a product of joint forces, if we want it or not. That is physical. So on the spiritual side, we are intertwined in the same way. We are brothers and sisters, if we want it or not, because that's our DNA and that's how God created us. You know, there was, I forgot her name, a brain researcher, a scientist at Harvard. She was a professor, doctor, whatever. She had many titles. And she was really very factual on brain. And one day, she had a stroke. And she was alone. And she experienced that she left her body. And she went towards, she was very attracted towards a light, a very strong light. And it was warm. And it was so welcoming. And she realized, she had this feeling that every little element, everybody is connected to this one huge warm light. Not just the planet, not just the people, the whole universe. And she felt so complete that she didn't want to go back. She really didn't want to go back. She wanted to stay in this beautiful, warm, peaceful, all-together harmony in the universe. So she realized there is more than just the brain. We also, I think, we sometimes forget that we collect a lot of physical furniture and forget to collect spiritual furniture. Yeah, we have to remind ourselves. Our quality of life is skyrocketing. It's amazing. But I think we have never been as lonely and depressed as this society today. It's so contradiction because we forgot the spiritual furniture. We forgot what we're actually here for and what we're supposed to be. We forgot to create a family under God and to make him to dwell with us. Simon Sinek, he's a guru in leadership for businesses. He found out the people are most happy. He thought money comes first. It was very far down. People wanted to be appreciated and they wanted to work because they felt they belong, that they have a value in it. These are spiritual values. And he said, he came to the conclusion, you have to run a company with heart. That's how people respond best. And heart is spiritually. I know one church member, he works for a sacred business in America. It's a chain of coffee shops. And when you go and you look at what they're serving, coffee gratitude, coffee love, coffee faith or coffee hope. You know, they and also when they serve the people, they want to give them everything they have. They want them to know you're welcome here. We want to be a family. It's an amazing chain. Ron and I, we were visiting. I asked him if we can visit this island in Essex. It's called Isle of Sheeby. There's nothing there, not much. But what struck me was all nature, all wildlife was gone. Because it had so many owners and everybody had different ideas. Then the University of Cambridge bought it and they decided it will become a nature reserve. They, in order to do that, they had to make lots of conditions. They have to prepare, they have to make certain arrangements, they had to put certain things in place so that the bird life can come back, the wildlife could come back. And I think in the spiritual family, we do the same. We create a foundation, or we create where you can learn how to love, you can learn trust, you can learn confidence, you can learn how to serve and how to appreciate, and you learn just very naturally that God, you let him live with you in that family. That's what I think should happen in a spiritual family. And when you fall, or when you lose sight of your road, there are brothers and sisters who catch you and get you back and help you, to support you, to find your way back. No pointing fingers, no judgment. Catch you and bring you back. I think that is what True Father meant to parents. And when you fall forward because you learn it from it. You use it for future things. You fall forward. You don't fall back on your feet. You only fall back on your faith, not on your feet, not on the ground. I remember when we established a newspaper in America. I was in Peru, a missionary. True Father wanted 40 missionaries to come, get trained as journalists, and then go back and into their countries and be a journalist. When we arrived, of course we weren't happy. We wanted to stay in our country. And it was decided, just from the very beginning, that I will be the overview for all the other journalists who are going back out. I have to take care of them, stay in touch with them, and make sure they're bringing that they're spiritually okay, and that they're bringing stories back for the newspaper to print. That, for me, that was a tough job. I was very worried, of course. So I thought spiritually, maybe I send them to Today's World. So every month I sent them to Today's World. They were very happy about it because through that they felt connected. Not because going into a journalist environment means going to pubs, going to areas where you have to find news. It's not very spiritual. But of course, I knew all of them and I was very worried about them. They were my spiritual family. Sometimes I called them. On one time, I was ready to go, leave the newspaper. I'd done my job for the day. I wanted to go back. And I felt so strongly, I need to call this one brother. So I put my bags down and I called this brother. He is a journalist in a specific country. And I called him and we talked and talked and talked. And on the end of the conversation, he said, if you wouldn't have called me, I would have left the church today. what I'm trying to say is, if we're really spiritually connected with each other, we know who, we get more sensitive who needs us right now. Yeah. Also, I believe in a spiritual family, you can take risks. You are more, you have courage to take risks. I observed, we had True Father established a business in Germany, and the sisters got pregnant. There were nobody there anymore who could do secretarial work. They all had children, and suddenly our company lost many employees because of all the sisters gone. And I told my central figure at that time, I can create a kindergarten, and then they can go back to work. It's not a problem. And he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "No, but I like to take that on." And it was good. The sisters could go back to work. Even outside people. Oh, there was another thing. Outside people came and said, "Can we bring our children to your nursery?" And I said, "Of course." But so then I went back to my able figure and I told him we could make much more money if I take them on, because I could charge them. No, you can't do that. So I had to remind him what True Father wants. True Father in America, when the Blessed Families started, and they started a school, "What shall we do?" they asked him. And he said, "I want to see a school where there is black, white, yellow. I want Muslims. I want Jewish in there. I want all kind of religion in that school." So I told my able figure, "Well, I want all kinds of people in my nursery." It was a risk, of course, and I found out we're Moonies, but that was not a problem. Yeah, so risks is not that bad. Just very quickly with the geese, I love birds, especially geese. They always fly over our house in the morning, 5 o'clock. It's very interesting. I always thought, why do they have this V shape? There is one geese in the front. She takes all the wind. She protects the rest, so that the others don't have so much energy to give to fly. But when she is tired, another person takes over. So they take care of each other and they share the responsibility. If a geese gets sick, she will not go alone down and sit down on earth, go back on the earth. She goes away from the tribe, but another geese goes with her. So till that bird recovers or dies. If the bird recovers, they're going back together and find their tribe, their family, their spiritual family. I find that absolutely amazing. Another one, sorry. Eagle. Eagle. What a bird. So, what the eagle mom does, because those chicks, they get so comfortable in the nest, she has enough. What she does is, she makes the nest so uncomfortable. She puts a lot of stuff away, so they get so uncomfortable that they have to learn to fly. So, I think God does the same. He wants to get us out of the comfort zone, and He gives us lots of opportunities to do so, and lots of opportunities to grow. Can you imagine these eagles would have never learned to get to know the world or to fly? And I think God, that is what He wants from us in the same way. I like you as you are, but you can do better. I think that's what He's saying, at least to me. So, just one last one from the eagle. That is a lesson. Oh, I'm still working on that. So, for 30 years, The eagle has no problem with his feathers, no problem. No, when a storm comes, he loves it. He loves that fight. He loves that opportunity. You know why? Because he can go higher. He can see better. He has a much better overview what it's all about. So for us, having problems or obstacles, I think that's opportunities to grow artistically and spiritually. After 30 years, when he has a beautiful life, he realizes he needs to change. That means, so he goes, that's up to him. If he doesn't change, he will die. So he flies alone in a mountain and he picks his feathers. That's painful, painful. 5 months. It takes an eagle 5 months to take his feathers out and get new ones. If he doesn't do that, he will not survive. And I think, at least with us first gen, even with Ron and me, I feel if we don't do those changes, which are very painful, and if we don't adapt and grow with our second gen or third gen, we will die. Spiritually, I mean. It is tough, and I don't think it takes me 5 months. It takes me years. These old habits, this old thinking, this negativity, that is what the lesson I learned from these eagles. It's painful. It's painful, but it's worth. True Father gave us home church. He asked us to be responsible for 360 houses. And I feel very guilty because I think that's the answer. I'm sometimes getting very jealous of this Nick Knowles. Nick Knowles is on TV. A family calls him and says, I lost my husband, or how I can't repair the house, or I have small children, I don't have time to repair, I don't even know how to repair the window. Or last time a mum took 5 children in, adopted 5 children because her family friend died on cancer. So he comes and asks the rest of the community around that one family to help, to paint, to do the garden, to fix the house, to put a new floor in. That is exactly what True Father asks us to do, to serve our community. And this community, they have no problem. They come and help. It's absolutely amazing. My spiritual mother called me once and said, I'm on my wisdom ends. My youngest daughter got into the wrong crowd, and the summer holidays are coming up. Can she please come to you? I said, yeah, please let her come to England. We've done a lot of stuff with her. We taught her how to do film, how to do the cutting, how to do the cut the film, we engaged her. We done a lot of things. We done a lot of adventure stuff with her. And my spiritual mother told me it's completely changed since then. That's what I mean. We are a spiritual family. We call each other. We ask, can you help? I don't know what to do with my daughter anymore. I don't know what to do with this situation anymore. True Father put us in Trinities in the beginning. He said, if a family has financial problem, you're in a Trinity, you help. If you have a marriage problem, the other 2 families have to help. Ron and I, we were called several times. I don't think we can make it. We are, it looks like we are separating. We took the next flight and we went to this country to help them. Yeah. Do you know Gutenberg? He was a German printer. He started a printing company. He decided, or he said, he believed the true wealth is in the mind and the heart of people. That's why he wanted to print the Bible for everybody to read, for everybody so they can develop their hearts and their minds. He got bankrupt, and his colleagues continued to print lots of Bibles so that everybody could read them, not just the vicar. It was the bishop, or it was only one person who knew. The rest of the congregation had no clue. So he printed and he gave them out. The Chinese, I'm not going against Chinese people, but the Chinese also did a lot of spiritual literature, beautiful design, but they locked it away in a museum, in a library. They didn't share it with the rest of the world. There is a difference, isn't it, in keeping something for yourself or sharing. Yeah. So I think I have to slowly stop. Yeah? Oh. No. I think God sends us sometimes people which are difficult to love. Very difficult to love. I had to manage a home for learning disabilities, free homes. And after a few years, I said, okay, I just want to slow down and just be a support worker. I don't want to have this responsibility. I got a job with children 16-year-old. They left social service and they had to go back into the community. That was a world I had no clue about. I have never heard so many swear words in my life. I had to stay with them 1 week, day and night. Then I had a few days off, went home, and then the same procedure again, but in another home. You don't stay with the same people. Sometimes you get beaten up or spit up, kicked, but the swear words, they're staying with you day and night. And on one point, I got so angry with God and said, don't you ever listen? I ask you, I would like to have a little bit time off. What you're giving me here is beyond me. I can't deal with them. I honestly said, I hate them. They are hyenas. They are not people. I was so angry. Why? And my family said, leave. And I said, I can't. If God put me there is a reason, and I don't know what he wants. And I remember I prepared myself on a Sunday evening to have another week of horrible life. My son came back from university, and he came into the living room and he said, what's wrong, Mama? And I said, nothing, fine. No. What's wrong? And I blurted out, true parents ask us to love every mankind. I can't do that, Christopher. I hate people. You know, how on earth? And I'm so sorry, I'm so ashamed. And he didn't say anything. He was just sitting there in silence. And I thought, oh, what is going to come now? Judgment? And he said, I know. It is very difficult to love someone who has no identity. And that, believe it or not, was the answer from God. Because suddenly everything went away. No heaviness anymore. And of course, those children never experienced family. They have no identity. They hid out. They're angry because they never received anything good. And from then on, they taught me, I was able to overcome that. It took me a long time, but I'm ever so grateful that God gave me this opportunity. It is, I could tell you stories. Only one. I asked once, I invited some of these damaged children, 16-year-old teenagers. I said, okay, let's go out for dinner because it became unbearable. I invite you all for dinner, not McDonald's. You choose a beautiful restaurant. We have dinner. And I asked them, can you tell me, why are you so mean? Why were you so mean also in the orphanage? Do you know what they said? Because we hoped they would have sent us home to our mom and dad. Family is our DNA. They wanted to go back, even if it was bad at home. They wanted to have a family. Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them. Okay, I think there's so much more. I just would like maybe. I'm sure everybody knows Robert Kennedy, the president who was killed. The gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play. It does not include the beauty of poetry or the strength of our marriages, the intelligence of our public debate, or the integrity of our public officials. It measures everything except which makes life worthwhile. We cannot rely on the government that they help us or solve our problems. They will not. They're only interested in one thing. So that's why we have to create these spiritual families where our marriages can have strength and overcome and survive. Yeah. Sometimes I hear brothers and sisters say, the Christians really have failed. Oh, the Christians are so weak, they really should do more. And I think, oh my God, but what about us? We too. The True Father questioned, when I read the Hondoke recently, the question is, what is the purpose of indemnity? Adam, in the relationship with God, has not completed his portion of responsibility. The portion of responsibility has not been connected to God. The love of God has not been connected either. Due to the fall, the domain of responsibility and love of God was lost. We have to conquer Satan's domain and stand in the complete Adam's position and gain responsibility and love into God's domain. It means we have responsibilities. Okay. Honestly, I tell you it's the last one. There's so much more, but I tell you only one more thing. If you would be given £86,500 every day, you have to spend it. If there's anything left over, you can't keep it. You also can't transfer it into another bank account. You have to spend it. And the next morning, you get another £86,500. And again, you have to spend it. If you don't, you lose it. 86,500 seconds a day we have. 86,500 seconds a day we have. We can use this or lose it. How we use that, if we share it, if we give it out, our time, our 86,500 seconds. If we use it for creating a spiritual family, or if we use it just for creating money and our physical furnitures, that depends on each single day, on each of those 86,500 seconds. They don't come back. They're lost if we don't use them. So it is our responsibility to shine our light on this world, on each other. Okay? Thank you.